The darkness isn't some monster lurking under the bed or a ghost in the closet. It lives inside, waiting for the moment when you're too weak, too broken, too distracted to defend yourself. It doesn't need to scream or roar. It waits quietly, knowing that patience is its greatest weapon. And when the darkness strikes, it hits where it hurts the most, where your will is weakest. People think they know their demons, that they can handle them. But the real darkness is subtle. It whispers, not shouts. It plants doubts like seeds, waiting for them to bloom into despair. Conquering it means facing not the monsters of the world, but the monster you carry in your own heart. The part of you that doubts your worth, that feeds off your fears, that delights in your failures. It's a clever, relentless enemy, and it doesn't fight fair. It strikes when you least expect it, pulling strings from the shadows, laughing as it watches you unravel. The worst part is, the darkness knows you. It knows every scar, every fear, every secret you thought you buried. Fighting it means ripping open wounds you prayed had healed, facing every nightmare with eyes wide open. It means embracing the parts of you that you despise, the parts you've been hiding from for years. People think strength is about brute force, about never feeling fear. But real strength comes from confronting the shadows without flinching, from staring into the abyss and refusing to blink. Only those who can do that stand a chance of conquering what lurks within. Control is an illusion, a comforting lie we tell ourselves to feel safe. But the darkness thrives on chaos, on the cracks in that illusion. It waits for moments of weakness, for cracks to form, and then it seeps in like a poison. Conquering it means learning to master chaos, to become the eye of your own storm. You don't banish the darkness. You harness it, shape it, bend it to your will. Only then can you walk through fire without being consumed, carry the weight of your sins without being crushed by them. Humor in the face of darkness is another weapon, one that few have the guts to use. Laughing at your own demons, mocking the shadows that once terrified you, robs them of their power. The darkness hates humor. It's a tool of defiance, a reminder that you are still alive, still fighting. But the humor isn't lighthearted. It's sharp, dark, and cutting. It's the laugh of someone who has faced oblivion and found it wanting, who has suffered and survived, who mocks the very idea of defeat. The darkness doesn't know how to handle that. It feeds on fear, not laughter. The shadows will try to convince you that surrender is the only option, that it's easier to let them take over, to give up the fight. But surrender's a lie, a pretty poison that tastes sweet at first. Conquering the darkness means never letting it win, never giving it the satisfaction of your defeat. It means rising bloody and bruised every time you fall. It means clawing your way out of the abyss, 1 inch at a time, even when every part of you screams to let go. The darkness is relentless, but so are you. There's a kind of freedom in facing your own darkness, a twisted liberation that comes from knowing the worst parts of yourself and choosing to fight anyway. No more running, no more hiding. The battle scars become part of you, reminders of every time the darkness tried to drown you and failed. Some wear their pain like chains. Others wear it like armor. Those who conquer their darkness know how to turn weakness into strength, how to transform pain into power. It's a dangerous, brutal kind of wisdom, but it's the only way to survive the war within. People think conquering the darkness means getting rid of it, purging it from your soul like some holy exorcism. But the reality is far more complicated. The darkness never leaves. It never fades away entirely. It becomes part of you, a scarred companion that you learn to master. You make it serve you, not the other way around. You become a creature of balance, both light and dark, capable of navigating the shadows without losing yourself. The fight never truly ends, but each victory makes you stronger, more resilient, more terrifyingly powerful. There are those who try to ignore their darkness, who pretend it doesn't exist. But ignorance is weakness, a liability in a world that shows no mercy. The darkness doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It festers, it grows, and when it finally erupts, it devours everything. The wise face it head-on, unafraid of what they might find. They tear down the facade, confront every ugly part of themselves, and refuse to be ruled by it. Conquering the darkness within means embracing the shadows, wearing them like a second skin, and never apologizing for it. It's about learning to live with the chaos, to thrive in it, to use it. The world fears those who have conquered their darkness because it knows they cannot be easily broken. Human existence has always been about one thing: kindling a light in the darkness of mere being. But the darkness is cunning, a force that doesn't just sit idly by and wait to be illuminated. It fights back, wrapping itself around hope, choking out dreams, whispering that the light is not worth the struggle. Yet the struggle is everything. The light we seek isn't handed to us, it's forged, beaten out of the raw materials of suffering and strife. The purpose of living isn't to bask in the glow of comfort, but to ignite a flame so powerful it keeps even the blackest of shadows at bay. Facing problems is where it begins. The world prefers shortcuts, the easy path, a trail of lights that lead away from darkness rather than through it. But that way leads nowhere. Growth, real growth, isn't a walk through fields of certainty. It's a crawl through the mud, a fight through the shadows, a plunge into the unknown where every step could be your undoing. We resist this because we are creatures of habit, terrified of losing control.
Please take this short break from your video to support our channel by getting yourself merch. Enjoy the rest of the video.
We beg for guarantees, for clear-cut answers, clinging to the illusion that safety can be found in the shallow pools of light. But safety is a lie. Only in the heart of darkness can the fire within us be truly tested and strengthened. The results we crave, victories, breakthroughs, moments of triumph, come at a price. They don't appear in a world of daylight and comfort. They are born from nights spent battling demons, from the uncertainty that comes when you are stripped of everything you thought you knew. To emerge from darkness transformed, one must be willing to enter it fully, to stand in its abyss and light the flame. But this is a task that requires more than courage. It demands enlightenment, a fierce clarity that comes only from knowing who you are and what you're willing to sacrifice. It is a test of consciousness, a reckoning with the self. The problem with most is that they try to fight darkness with weakness, with half measures and fleeting desires for safety. But darkness laughs at weakness, it devours it. To penetrate the void, to make your mark, you must summon every ounce of enlightenment you possess, every shred of strength and wisdom. It's about tearing away illusions, casting aside every excuse and comfort that holds you back. The light you carry must be blinding, not a flicker but a blaze. The shadows fear nothing less, and they know that only the truly prepared, the ones who wield their own consciousness like a weapon, will ever stand a chance of surviving. Obscurity is the realm of those who are afraid to commit. People dream of change, of impact, but refuse to face the shadows that guard such treasures. The instinct to turn back, to flee at the first sign of resistance, is what keeps most people ordinary. Extraordinary beings, however, walk forward, eyes wide, hands steady, knowing the darkness will try to break them, but refusing to let it. They understand that pain is a currency, one they pay willingly for the right to become something more. To wish for an easy path is to wish for mediocrity. To abandon the journey that forges greatness. To be enlightened is to carry a light that darkness cannot extinguish. But enlightenment is a savage thing, born not of comfort but of trials that would destroy the unworthy. It requires more than understanding. It demands action, a ruthless commitment to grow no matter the cost. The mind must be sharpened, every thought forged to resist the pull of doubt. The light of mere being is a fragile thing, easily snuffed out, but the light of the enlightened soul is indomitable. It cuts through the blackest nights, a beacon that proves survival is not enough. Domination of the darkness is the goal. The shadows love to see us hesitate, to watch as we falter and beg for respite. But respite is for the weak. There's no time to stumble, no room for second guessing. Each step into the unknown must be a statement, a declaration that you will not be claimed by the void. Every failure, every fall is fuel. Enlightenment is not handed down from the heavens, it is dragged out of hell itself, earned through sweat, blood, and sheer will. It is a fire kindled by those who have faced their nightmares and returned, not unscarred but undefeated. Summoning all the powers of enlightenment requires a darkness that tests every limit, that forces you to fight or be consumed. Those who enter with anything less than full commitment are swallowed, forgotten by time and fate. But those who light their way through the darkness, who treat the abyss as a crucible, emerge changed. Their light isn't just bright, it's transformative. It bends reality, reshapes destiny. They carry a force that cannot be quieted, a strength that will not be dimmed. And that is how they conquer, how they leave their mark on a world that thrives on chaos. The battle between light and dark isn't won in a moment, but in a lifetime of struggle, falling low, into a pit so deep that light feels like a distant memory, is not reserved for the weak or shallow. Only those who have great depth can plummet to such darkness. It is the paradox of existence. The higher one's potential for greatness, the lower one can fall. Those who sink the furthest are the same ones who possess the capability to rise higher than anyone else. The darkness is not a punishment. It is a mirror, reflecting the uncharted heights that wait on the other side. The world fears this descent, fears what it reveals. But those who understand, those who dare to confront the blackest abyss, know that within the darkness lies a challenge, a call to awaken something immense and unbreakable. Great depth is a curse and a gift. It swallows some whole, trapping them in a downward spiral, while for others it becomes the forge that sharpens their soul. Falling is painful, brutal, a trial that strips away all illusions. It leaves one raw, broken, stripped of pride and hope. But it is in this shattering that potential begins to emerge, the potential to climb higher than those who never knew such darkness. There is a power hidden in the fall, a chance to awaken strength that cannot be found in the light. The darkness asks, "What are you made of?" It waits to see who will answer. Most fear the fall because they are afraid of what it will reveal, of the parts of themselves that lurk in the shadows. But falling low is a test, a call to arms for the soul. It demands to know if the one who has fallen will let the darkness win, or if they will rise, clawing their way out with newfound ferocity. The potential height that corresponds to such depth is not given, it is earned. Those who sink low and stay there will never know the strength waiting to be unleashed. But those who fight, who dare to rise, discover something magnificent, something no one can take from them. The blackest darkness is not an ending. It is a beginning. It is the crucible where heroes and villains are made. Those who find themselves at the bottom staring into the void have a choice: succumb or rise. But rising isn't just about reaching for the light, it's about transforming, about turning the darkness into a source of power. It's about understanding that the fall was necessary, that the depths correspond to a height so dizzying it would break lesser beings. It's about realizing that one cannot reach the stars without first facing the shadows. Depth is not for the faint-hearted. It is a challenge, a reckoning with everything that haunts and whispers in the night. Only those who are willing to confront the darkest parts of themselves, who are unafraid of being torn apart and remade, can ever hope to understand what it means to have such potential. The fall strips away what is weak, what is afraid, and leaves only the core, the unyielding part of the soul that refuses to be defeated. It is this core that carries the potential to reach heights that most can only dream of. Greatness is born from those who have been to the bottom and survived. It comes from those who have seen the blackest parts of existence and decided to use the darkness, to turn it into a weapon, a shield, a driving force. The world loves to talk of light and happiness, of hope and dreams. But only those who have faced the darkness know how shallow those words can be. They know that the real light, the kind that cannot be extinguished, is born from facing and conquering the deepest shadows. The fall is necessary. It reveals who has the courage to rise and who will be consumed. The depth a person falls to is a measure of their potential to achieve the unimaginable. For every inch of darkness, there is an equal measure of light waiting to be found. But that light doesn't come easily. It must be fought for, claimed with a force that leaves nothing to chance. The climb back up, from shadow to sun, is a brutal, merciless ascent. Only those who respect the darkness, who know its weight and power, will find the strength to make it. What lies at the bottom of the abyss is not despair, but potential. It waits for those who are brave enough to confront it, who understand that their fall was a call to rise. There is no greatness without suffering, no power without sacrifice. The fall gives perspective, and the climb gives strength. But both demand an iron will, a refusal to surrender to the void. Those who emerge from the darkness do not just return to who they were. They become something else, something forged from struggle and lit from within. The world fears the depths, fears what it might find there. But those who have fallen know that the greatest heights are only reached by those who first sank to the bottom. They do not fear the darkness. They respect it. They understand that to conquer it is to conquer oneself. to find a power that can bend reality to their will. And when they finally rise, they do so with a fire that can never be extinguished. Fighting monsters is not a quest for the weak. It takes a special kind of madness to hunt the beasts lurking in the shadows.